getting ourselves into the mentality, into the ability, utilizing what we have inside, utilizing our focus, our knowledge, and our discipline. And so what kind of challenges are you facing off against today? What are the things that you're working through? What are the things that you're looking to achieve, to overcome? Where is your mentality? And so how do you utilize what you have inside? And each of us has challenges. Each of us has things to work through. We have things that we're looking to work on. And so every day we get together and we put ourselves in a mentality. We put ourselves in a place. We build the community, motivationmeditationinspiration.yoga, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, podcasts. I mean, you name it, we got it. And so how do we use this type of challenges? How do we start getting into the ability to learn from ourselves? How do we start to focus to the point where the challenges that we have, we start to overcome? Are you putting yourself in that kind of a place where your mentality starts to open up, where you sit down and you give yourself a few minutes every day to work through your challenges and to put yourself in a place? And that's what this network is about. A lot of people on Discipline 101 on Facebook, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, they're always there to help you to learn how to meditate and to get into your ability inside of yourself to overcome your challenges. Now, I am definitely on multiple platforms here. You're welcome to call in. I do energy readings, but positive vibes.
Hi, bro.
Blessings. Where are we calling from?
Italy.
Oh, very good. So,
How are you?
very good. You're trying to speak English, which is good. I'm grateful that you called in. So,
Yes. I don't speak English.
It's okay. It's all right. I understand that you use a lot of your depth perception, so you kind of are really aware about the things that go on around you, huh?
Repeat?
It's okay. So the things that happen around you, you're very aware. It's okay. I'm grateful for you calling in. I'm going to continue with my video, but blessings to Italy, okay?
Okay.
So as we put ourselves in a place where we utilize the mentality that we have inside, we're always going to be looking to improve in our focus. We're going to be looking to put ourselves in a place where we can overcome challenges, where we can learn to utilize the challenges that we have and the things that we go through. And like, for instance, that was a very wonderful place to go within and to utilize your ability. If you look on the motivationmeditationinspiration.yoga, it will pull up my website, and on my website you can actually go there to my YouTube. I also have my podcast as well, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, on Spotify as well. And so if you're on one of those networks and you really enjoy what we're leaving here, leave a comment. Say, hey, look, I found this. I enjoy this type of work that you're doing. I recognize that what you're putting in actually is there, and I do see this across the world. I see this on my website, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, YouTube site. I see it on Facebook, you know, as I'm building a community here. I'd like to start building a like-minded community. I'd like to start to see who actually watches these videos. So if you're watching one of these videos, subscribe to the network that you're on. Put a comment in. Put a ability for, hey Marcel, I'm working through these kind of challenges right now. I'm going through these type of things in my life. Let's get this community going in such a way that other people start to become uplifted, that we start to use your challenges so that we can overcome them. And as we build a community, as we build a ability inside of ourselves, inside of our mentalities, let's vibrate in that way in which we start bringing you positivity into your life. We start bringing you blessings and blessings. And I see the Periscope from India here. And so I've been doing meditation for nearly a decade. I'm 35, and I've been doing meditation since I was 27. And so when we put ourselves in a like-mindedness, when we put ourselves in a place where we build a community of people who are vibrating into positivity, you'd be surprised in the things that can come your way. You'd be surprised in the ability inside of yourself. Just like when I was sleeping in my van and I was asking myself the question, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And the reason why is because that's what this channel is about. It's about putting our mentality in a place where we enable our mentality, where we give ourselves the ability to build a community of people. And if you're out there and you're seeking out to learn how to meditate, if you're seeking out how to put yourself in a place where you can be that in your entire day, where blessings can start coming your way, this channel is for you. The ability inside of yourself to grow, your own self-growth, your own self-ability. And so I'd like you guys to leave comments below and to start to connect with the network. I really enjoy working with people. I really enjoy helping them to pull themselves up and to see the best inside of themselves, that they can start to believe in who they are. They can start to believe in their abilities and overcome their challenges and utilize the tools that they have inside. And so that's what this is about. It's about you. It's about your ability. It's about building a community of people, becoming disciplined. Like my Facebook site, Discipline 101. Oh yeah, I took that name. Motivation, meditation, inspiration. That's the thing I ask myself every single day, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? So that's what I'm about. What are you about? What is it that drives you? Do you enjoy music? Do you enjoy the ability to write, to walk, to speak? I have a friend in the Netherlands. He enjoys nature walks. He does nature walking meditation. And so how do we use that type of stuff in our everyday? How do we start to put ourselves in a place where we focus to the point where we use our challenges, where our mentality starts to open up, where the ability inside of ourselves starts to become? And I see these people across the globe, and I see these programs, and I see these abilities inside of themselves, and I'm really enjoying a Shaolin monk who teaches Qigong in Germany. I'm really enjoying all of these different people, and I'm seeing how the utilization of the meditation that I do works across multiple platforms. And so if you're interested in learning, leave comments below. Let's build a community. If you guys want a video out there about meditation, then ask. I have videos on YouTube, zeromlp2000@gmail.com. If you search up motivation, meditation, inspiration, you're going to find me. Go to my website. It'll take you straight directly to the link. And so let's go ahead and start working on getting into that kind of mentality. How do we start to enable our minds? How do we start to give ourselves a little bit of time each day to start to put a 10th aside for you? Put an ability inside of yourself to use your challenges, to truly be who you are on the inside, and to start to enable you, to believe in yourself, to believe that you are a blessing, that your challenges you can overcome, and that you can actually face off against your challenges, and that they're worth it. And so how do we start to get there? How do we start to get to the point where we focus to that level, where we create that kind of foundation, where the things that we're facing off against, we want to face off against, right? A lot of people try to run from their challenges. They try to run from the ability inside of themselves, their mentality. They start to try to seek a way out instead of embrace it and overcome the challenges. And so each day that we give ourselves that ability to do that, that we wake up another day, that we live another day on this planet, is a blessing. And so are you seeing those blessings on your daily? Are you seeing them within yourself? Are you becoming a tool, a gift within the universe, in a place of focus, in a place of foundation? And so I ask that question every day. I ask that question, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Am I focused to the point where the dreams and the goals and the gifts that I want to achieve become possible? Have you asked yourself that question? Have you asked yourself if you have that ability inside of you? And so it brings great joy to have challenges. It brings great joy to have to work around your schedules. A lot of us have different types of schedules. Some of us may not be able to spend that part of our day in the morning. Sometimes we might have to do that at night. But the important part is that we make sure we give ourselves that kind of time, that we give ourselves that kind of place inside of who we are, where we utilize our challenges and we utilize our gifts. And so what are some of the gifts that you have? What are some of the things that you work through? What are some of the places where you could brainstorm with me for a minute? What does it take? Are you putting vision boards in front of yourself? Are you seeing your goals? Are you waking up daily and you're looking at the statistics? Are you looking at the ability? Are you enjoying the atmosphere? What is it that drives you to wake up in the morning? How do you wake up? Some of us wake up with a tea. Some of us wake up with a shake. Some of us wake up with meditation, with yoga, exercising, running. There's a lot of different ways to express it, but you got to give yourself that kind of time. You got to give yourself that kind of place where you start to spend just a little bit of time on yourself. And when do we spend that time to sit down inside and master that kind of place inside of ourselves? When do we spend a little bit of time and read a book, or we spend a little bit of time and listen to a little music, or give ourselves a little place to listen or go for a walk? See, that's what I'm talking about in focus. It's in slowing oneself down to where the environment around them no longer has the ability to stop them, has the ability to embrace the challenges that we're facing off against aren't greater than we are on the inside. And sometimes that's talking to somebody in the morning. It's actually saying, hey, good morning. It's giving yourself that ability to see the qualities in life, the ability inside of yourself, that it's not always about how much you earn, it's about where your mentality is, where your level of focus goes. So you might be, in New York going to work today hearing this message. You might be, in Arizona hearing this message. It doesn't matter where you are. You might be in India. I have people from Italy to India, viewing these videos, to, the United States, to across the globe. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful ability to connect with the people around the world. And each of us should do that. We should see the expansion within this world. We should take a little bit of time to acknowledge the beautiful things, because they are. And they're there for you. There's a lot more than outside than what's in front of the screen. And some of us go from one position to another without even taking a few minutes to breathe. When do we start to do that? When do we start to put ourselves in a place where we give ourselves a little bit of time, where we start to overcome our challenges, where we start to see the blessings that are from the Most High? And see, a lot of people don't ask that kind of question of themselves. Why? That's the type of question that I ask daily. And I want you to see this is to motivate you. It's to stimulate your mind to the point where you start to ask those kinds of questions. How can I start to be who I am? How can I start to achieve my dreams? How can I start to achieve my goals, my ambition, the drive that puts you together? How do you start to focus to that level? How do you start to get down with that part of yourself? And it comes from within. It comes from when it's not about somebody else. When you want to stop some kind of thing that is stopping you, it's when you want to do it for yourself. And the people that are there to embrace you, the people that are there to uplift you, they're going to be there to uplift you. They're going to recognize that your challenges are worth it, that you're worth it, that your value inside of you is what matters. And so when you see that ability inside of your mentality, that's when you start to enable your mind. And what are some of the tools that we can utilize to do so? Are you putting the stuff that you want to achieve on paper? Are you writing it down in front of yourself? Find a way to put your mind down. Put it in front of you so you can see it, so you can truly face off against it, so it can manifest itself in such a way that you have the ability to find the positive in it. Are you putting yourself in a place where you're using that level of positivity? Are you putting yourself in that kind of a place where you're using that kind of mentality? See, a lot of people disable their mind before they're able to enable it, where they first start to believe in themselves and then things aren't working their way. Do they continue past that point? See, a lot of things that we get, a lot of the challenges that we face off against are once we're willing to go past the breaking point. And so are you willing to face off against that kind of heat? Are you willing to focus to the point where you can start to see it? Because those people that do that, they start to get those things. They get to have them. They get to see the results. They get to see the ability inside of themselves start to grow. They get to see the ability to believe in themselves. And it's not like the challenges don't come, because everybody has challenges. That's the great part. It's just they figure out how to work with them in a better depth. They figure out how to utilize their challenges to drive them. They figure out how to utilize their challenges to overcome them. They start to see that when they're using what they have inside, that the gifts inside start to open up. The gifts inside start to overcome. The mentality within themselves starts to vibrate. And are you doing that for yourself? Are you giving yourself that kind of place to focus to that kind of level? See, each of us has challenges. Each of us has things that we work on. We have things that we're working through that sometimes it looks impossible. And it's not that it is impossible. It's that the equation within the universe is waiting for you to find the solution. See what I'm saying? When you find a foundation and focus, you find the reason behind it. You find the real thing that's going on, that if I can make it through this day, it'll drive me to bring this piece together. If I can get to that page, if I can overcome this kind of challenge, if I could put myself in a place where even when you're getting your butt kicked, it's bringing you closer to your ability to see that place, to create that kind of foundation within yourself. And a lot of people hear this kind of message, they hear this kind of thing, and then when they start to listen to it and they start to achieve it, and then when their dreams start to become possible, and when it opens up, yes, when it starts to become a foundation, when you start to focus to the level where other people see you, that's when they see you as a reflection of motivation. I don't get it how some people could say to themselves, I don't know how to be motivated. Have they even woken up today? Have they even picked up a pen or paper? Have they even listened to some motivational speaker hear what I'm saying? Listen to me or others, but recognize what I'm saying. If you put your mentality in a place, if you put your ability in a place where you utilize what you have, then you get to keep it. Then you get to keep the ability for you to have that. A lot of people are going to positions that they don't want. They're going to places, they're not achieving their dreams. They're not using them as gifts. They're not using them as drive. And when you have nothing, that's when you have everything. When you're in a place where you have a reason to go, when you have a reason to go to work, my friends, it gives you a drive to grow. It gives you a drive to be who you are on the inside when you focus to that level where you're utilizing the things that you have. See, a lot of people, they go to these positions and then they see the paycheck at the end of the week and they're surprised in the results, but they didn't put in the work to reach that higher level. They didn't put in the work to reach that place within themselves. They're going for somebody else's dreams, somebody else's goals. When do we seek out our own? When do we seek out our own beings? And see, it's not like we don't go there to be grateful. We go there to see how we can improve. We go there to see how our mentalities can go forward, how we can believe in ourselves. And so when we start to get it, we want to be around people that are like-minded, who are actually getting there, that are actually achieving that, or are getting to the point where they're utilizing the gifts that they have inside. And this place of focus allows those types of things to leave. It allows those things to move out of the way. It allows that ability inside of yourself to be grateful for the things that you do have. And so how do we start to become the best bakers, cooks, singers, artists, writers? How do we become the best speakers? By putting ourselves in a place where we utilize that depth of focus. See, a lot of people enjoy the things that they do. When do we start to be happy with that part of ourselves? When do we start to gain that level of mentality? And see, I've seen so many people that just want to throw, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. What about what you're able to do? What about what you're able to utilize? What about what you're utilizing on a daily basis? You see, the challenges that we're facing off against are not outside, my friends, they're in your mind. And so we got to utilize that whole entire part of ourselves to gain that place where we create a foundation and focus. What is it that you're writing down? What is it that you're listening to? What is it that you're putting in your mind? What is it that you're programming yourself to focus into? How do you focus? And so as we start to gain that part of ourselves, we get to see it. You actually get to see what your mentality is. You get to see that your ability, that you can overcome your challenges. That, when I was younger, I had a full-blooded learning disability. You see, I had challenges that other people would say are a disability. And so I'm sharing a story with you that if you might be out there and people might be telling you you're disabled. Okay, I had 5 to 7 migraines a week. I was in a place where nobody else could achieve what I can. Okay, and it wasn't until you believe in yourself. When I had a 4th grade reading level at 17, when I was in a place and I picked up a Steve Reeves book, when I looked at my chest and I was at a place where I couldn't even lift 100 pounds, okay, when I said to myself, I'm going to learn how to do this, when I took my reading level from a 4th to an 8th grade comprehension and then to a 12th grade comprehension without even doing it, when I sat down with a book in a room, okay, when I went and worked for Chrysler, when they said it wasn't possible, when I saw people with master's degrees and I was sitting there and I was overcoming things and I was reaching 1st and 2nd place when I was working 100 hours a week. This is the type of mentality I'm talking about, my friends. I'm talking about the ability to believe in yourselves. I'm talking about the ability to overcome your challenges, to be who you are on the inside, to manifest your being, to not allow the things that hold you back to stop you. It wasn't that I couldn't spell. It was that I had to find a way to utilize things that others wouldn't. I had to sit there in front of people with credit applications, going online, typing on Google, to be able to pull it up, to be able to even spell the words. And is that not considered a level of education when you outsell people with master's degrees? Okay? When you put yourself in a place where your mentality is, where other people would give up and you're continuing. That's what it's talking about. I'm talking about a level of focus that you are determined, where you're going to achieve your dreams, you're going to find a way. And yeah, you might have to work 3 times harder. Yes, it might take you 2 times longer. Yes, people might take things from you in the process of you achieving your dreams. But when do you start to want to do it for yourselves? See, this is what I'm talking about. That's why I was able to sit in the sauna for 5 hours without exiting. Because it's in the mind, my friends. It's when you focus to that level where you believe in yourselves, where you believe in your ability. It isn't somebody else that can do it for you, okay? It's not somebody else who's going to pick up your voice and sing for you. It's not somebody else that's going to write for you. It's not somebody else that's going to speak for you. Are you using your gifts? Are you focused into the ability to use what you have inside of yourself? And when I drove 100, I worked with 100,000 people in 7 years. I had people in the car when I was driving for Uber. When I was doing trips after trips after trips, I did 50 trips in 24 hours, okay? Is it possible for you to achieve your dreams? Yes, it is, but not by other people's opinions, but by other people's skills. It comes down to the skill that you have inside of yourselves. It comes down to the mentality that you have inside of you. And so we see these people that are willing to work that extra step, that are willing to put that focus in, that are willing to go to that kitchen when they don't have a prep cook. Okay, I know people that don't have a prep cook but got to take care of a whole kitchen by themselves. And it's inside of the mind that I can do this that it becomes possible. It's when you see the people that might not be able to make it in other people's mentality achieve it for themselves. And those are the type of like-minded people who come to this channel. Those are the type of like-minded people who seek out this kind of mentality. It's a thing they're not going to teach you. Okay, it's what you got to learn from yourself. It's what you got to learn inside of who you are. And it's when you achieve and you grab hold of those kind of things where you create those kind of patterns. And that's the reason why we write things down, my friends. Because what we write down, we get to see. And once you can see it, you can achieve it. Andrew Carnegie understood this. Okay, when we are at that level of understanding, that level of being, that level of purpose, things become possible. Okay, at this age of 35, I can read whatever I want now because I believe in myself. Okay, and you can too. You can believe in you. You can believe in your abilities. You can put yourself in a place where you can drive yourself, where you can gain that place of willpower, where you can achieve your dreams, where you can achieve your mastery, where you can achieve your ability inside of yourself. And you might be going to the position, and people might not say you're qualified. It might take you 3 times longer to reach that part. But if you believe in yourself, if you focus to that level where you utilize what you have in yourself, then you get to keep the results. And it's inside of ourselves that we do that. And so, when we put ourselves in a place where we recognize things as simple as Newton's third law, for each action there's an equal and opposite. What are you choosing? What are you using your energy towards? Are you using your energy towards negativity? Or are you using your energy towards a positive direction? Are you putting yourself in a place where you're utilizing your being? And when I slept in my van, for 2 months I slept in my van. I was doing meditation every single morning. I was inside the sauna. 4 o'clock in the morning. I was getting out of the sauna, heading to the car. I was going to McDonald's, filling up water bottles so I could fill up shakes so I could get out and deliver food with 2 dogs in a car with me. Okay? Washing my clothes by hand. Alright, so if the question is, what would happen if you were homeless? That is what would happen. I would get to the point where discipline became a reflection. And so when our mentality is enabled, when our mentality reaches the place inside of itself, when the mentality starts to open up, that's not a what if, my friends. It's a belief in yourselves. It's a belief in your ability. And that's when you start to have an able mentality. And you see, I've been through enough life challenges to recognize that we need to understand that others have their challenges as well. When you allow people to go through their own challenges, when you embrace them in such a way that they can overcome their challenges, that you can truly become a motivation. It's when other people see you as that. And so that's where we're heading on the second part of this, which is about meditation. I'm almost done talking about motivation. Okay, so I got about another 2 minutes. I actually got people that are wanting me to talk right now about the chakras. I will definitely get down to the energy point within that part of the speech. And so when we're focused to that level, see, other people want to see where this is going. Okay, and that is exactly where it's headed. That's why the questions that I ask myself today and every day is what I'm doing today. Is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the 3, I don't want it. And at this point, I'm focusing on the ability to drive you to the place of motivation. Okay? When you're going to your positions, are you stepping up to the plate? Are you spending the time to grind? Are you gaining the qualification inside of yourself before they even say so? Okay? Let them see the results come from your mentality. Where you're an enabled mentality, your able ability. See, I've been doing this for over a year. I'm creating a community out there of people. You know, connect with it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know, my podcast so you can hear me on a daily. You can vibrate, utilize this kind of mentality in yourself. You can start to see these kind of challenges become overcome for you. Ask yourself what you use, what things you have inside of you. What does it take for you to be yourself? What does it take for you to believe in who you are, in your ability inside of your being? And if you allow those things that are not you to move out of the way on their own, they will. And it's up for you to see the blessing that you already are, that you already are on your path. It's when you start to embrace that path. It's when you start to embrace that ability. When you start to focus to that level where you use what you have inside of who you are. And so, how do we focus to that place? How do we find that ability inside of ourselves where the things on the outside no longer have the ability to crush us? See, this is what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the person who has the ability inside of themselves to believe in who they are. And so now comes the time where I start talking about the energy inwards. First thing about understanding yourself is that you are a student in this life, this great journey called life. And so as a student in this life, you got to connect to your being. And you got to connect to the energy inside of yourself. When you do so, you decompress the things like fears, like emotions, and the things like pains become teachers. And so like a student inside of who they are, that is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the student that you are inside of yourself. That ability to get down with the challenges that you face off against. The ability to get down with the part inside of who you are. And each of us has that place inside of ourselves where we utilize what we have inside, where we utilize that ability in our mentality, that ability in our focus, that ability within ourselves. And when we focus to that level, where we're using what we have inside, when we're using what we have in our ability, when we focus to that point where we have the ability to overcome our challenges, okay, then what's going on inside of you starts to matter. And when you start to use that part inside of you, you start to use the energy that the question that I was asked, what about the chakras? Okay. And so how we start using that kind of energy. And so as I was sitting down inside the sauna at 40 plus days of cross-legged meditation for a minimum of an hour a day, my knees became the size of oranges. And so what I realized was what goes on in our ability inside of ourselves becomes a reflection on the outside. The energy that radiates outwards, the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple, and the white energy within ourselves, within every single human being, is related to how well you can decompress the knowledge inside of you. How well you can gain, the student inside of you can learn the lessons inside of who we are. And so as we give ourselves that ability to both read the pages and the chapters, okay? In the meditation world, we call the pages the lotus. We call it the pages are the breath's connection to the body. And the lotus is the chapters themselves. So we are like a book that we read, that we study, that has to deal with red energy, which is like the ability to stand your ground in all situations. This can affect you in your positions. This can give you the ability to stand your ground, and I used a lot of that in sales. The ability to utilize the energy within oneself to understand how to use the energies in such a way that you use your being, that you use your very essence, that you use your very purpose, your understanding that your heart matters, of understanding of the heart, but also relation of the heart are important. And how you voice yourself. Getting that ability to strengthen your ability inside of yourself to voice yourself. There's a lot of professional speakers who work with the blue energy field within themselves. And what about your depth perception? How far do you see into the future? Can you take a step forward? Can you be aware of what's going on around you? A lot of martial artists work with the depth perception. But what about the nervous system? The ability when people are around you. How do you work with that ability inside of yourself? How do you use that kind of knowledge? See, we could go to the British Museum and you'll see paintings with white auras around them, gaining the access from the knowledge from the universe, the Kashi knowledge files themselves. How do we use these different knowledges within who we are? And so, see, I'm speaking a language of understanding right now. For those people who utilize that kind of energy inside of themselves, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But I like to break it down to the simplicity, being like it to a student in your life. Ask yourself, how many years have I been on the face of the planet? Have I taken some time to decompress the challenges that I go through? The things that I am facing off against? How do I start to overcome those kind of challenges? How do I start to get to that place where the student and the teacher inside meet? And so we are a classroom. Each of us is a classroom. Each of us faces off against challenges. We face off against our mentality. And when we heat it up to the point where the knowledge comes out, when we heat it up to the ability inside of who we are, when we heat it up to our ability to overcome, then we start to see the student understanding from the teacher. And it's like a student becoming a teacher within your classroom, where your focus and your knowledge are, where you are centered, where you're connected to your breath, where you're connected to your purpose. And it's not just with your eyes closed that this happens, it's when you're singing. It's when you're with your instruments. It's when you're in your professions. It's how we vibrate with positivity, where we know the knowledge that if we understand, that we gain a level of understanding within ourselves, that it allows us to be that kind of light. And one day somebody came to me and was like, you mean inner light? You mean enlightening? Enlightened. And it's when we are that light inside of ourselves, when we gain that access to that self-honesty. See, I started to recognize, and when you're working with people, when you're truly working with people, you start to see the attributes. Like, one of the hardest attributes to work with is self-honesty, because it requires work, my friends. It requires putting yourself in a place where you can gain access from that teacher, that self-truth, that self-being, that self-knowledge. See, to me, the lotus is like a lotus because the flowers are the pages, and the center is the knowledge. But you are that center, and you will always be that first seed of knowledge. Was that first time you learned that path, that you learned that part of your purpose. And it's inside of ourselves that we gain that place, that we give ourselves that ability to overcome things. When you see your knowledge is worth it, that you are an intelligent being, that you are a human being, the very essence. See, a lot of people like to spit on that until they see what they're worth. When they see themselves as beautiful, when they're sitting down and they're speaking, I am beautiful, into themselves, and the vibration comes out, and somebody says to them, you're beautiful. That is the type of knowledge that we're talking about. We're talking about self-understanding, self-purpose, self-worth, self-ability, self-knowledge. And it's a student within themselves that finds the beauty within who they are. It's a student within themselves who finds the understanding that they can achieve their dreams, their goals. See, it's when you start to have that, when you start to become that, when you start to master that being within you. And it takes determination. Okay, it takes self-study to the point where other people just wouldn't be willing to go. Are you doing that for yourself? Are you giving yourself that place where you start to just have a little bit of belief in yourself, where you start to have just a little bit of growth inside of who you are, where you start to swim, where you no longer feel like you're drowning, where you can believe in you and you can believe in your ability inside of yourselves? And so, if you're going through those kind of challenges today, recognize that you can pick yourself up, that you can pull yourself out. You know, you might get kicked down 1,000 times, but if you get back up, like the light bulb, you know, it wasn't until over 1,000 tries that he achieved the light bulb. But look at us all today. We're utilizing that. Can we see that ability inside of ourselves? Can we see that ability inside of our mentality? And so it's when we sit down and we feel like it's not working that it starts to work. When we continue when other people would just give up. And so focusing to that level where your knowledge liberates itself, where it truly frees you, where you start to see the hugs, you start to see the support, where you start to see the people that believe in you. And when you start to seek out that part inside of yourself, when you seek out that part inside of your mentality, inside of your ability, and when it becomes possible, when it becomes a part of who you are, when your knowledge and your focus becomes centered within your being, when it becomes a part of your purpose. This is what we're talking about today. This is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about, who do you believe in? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your abilities? Are you getting that place of discipline where you focus to that point where you believe in who you are? And it takes that person inside to start to just believe a little bit in themselves, that starts to open up, that says, maybe this time things might be different. Who starts to just do that extra rep, that, gets that apartment, who gets that place inside of themselves, who has just a little bit of belief. If you could just hold in there just one more rep, one more day, it's worth it. And when you start to achieve those kind of dreams, when you start to gain that part of yourself, when you start to truly start to believe in yourself, the universe starts to work in your favor. It starts to see your knowledge and your focus is qualified to be you. It starts to say, hey, why don't I give that person a chance? Why don't I see if they can do it? If they can achieve it? If they get this ability inside of themselves to believe in themselves, how blessed am I to have them in my life? See, it's not the challenges that we're facing off that matters. It's how we overcome them within ourselves. It's how we recognize that other people have challenges too. It's how we uplift from being who we are. It's how we share self-care at a point of reflection of self-love. That kind of discipline is what I'm talking about today. That kind of being, that kind of vibration, that kind of beauty inside is such a special thing. And you each can do it. You can achieve it. But you got to believe in yourselves. You got to believe in your abilities. You got to believe that when you use your focus and your knowledge, that it has a purpose called you, that your journey is worth it, that you are worth it. And that's what really matters. When you start to hear that, when you hear this message, when you start to connect, when I have thousands of people watching my videos, when I hit the pages where I have more than 10,000, when I get invited to give the first speeches, if your corporation is looking for a motivational speaker to drive up your percentage, I can do that. I can teach your teams how to study. I can teach your teams how to increase your percentage by 20 to 40, sometimes 50% plus. I can improve your production, your mentality, your vibration, your visualization of your corporations. I can do that. I've been through it. I'm telling you how to gain that kind of discipline within yourself, where you become a company with the people around you. Okay? Where the people around you embrace you for who you are. Where they see you as a reflection outwards, where the mentality, and if you're one of those corporations seeking out that kind of thing in your place, leave a comment below. Let's connect. Let's get your corporation up there where your dreams become possible, where they become a vibration. And I know this is a year of expansion. This is a true year of expansion. I see it. I see the contraction and I also see the expansion, my friends. I see the mentality opening up to that ability. I see the ability inside of ourselves. And, you might be a part of this world where nobody else thought it was possible. Like where you're utilizing the person that you are inside. You're utilizing the ability inside of your mentality. And each of us deserves that. We deserve that ability to believe in ourselves. Even if you're an employer or an employee, even if you're in a relationship, you can utilize what I'm talking about today. So how do we use that focus? How do we utilize that knowledge inside of you? How do we center it to the point where we become the discipline? How do we put ourselves in that place where our professions gain access to universal yields? How do we gain access in our homes to universal yields? How do we gain access to our being in such a way that the energy inside starts to vibrate outwards? See, a lot of people don't understand this, that when you start to use your focus and knowledge, the universe starts to test you, starts to ask you if you truly want it, if you're positive enough to become disciplined to the point where the reflection radiates, if you can see that in a positive way, if you can put that mentality in a positive place, if you can create a team of people who believe in themselves and they believe in their abilities and they believe that they have the ability to overcome their challenges. And so how do we do this in our professions? How do we put ourselves in a place where we can become inspired daily? That's the type of places that we need to be seeking out. We need to be seeking out people that will bring us closer to ourselves, to bring us closer to our goals, that will bring us closer to our ambitions and our purposes, and find like-minded people to achieve, like-minded people to become part of our teams, become part of our companies. And so when I see those type of things in my own life, inside I see it. Inside, I know that I'm achieving it. Inside, I'm recognizing that, the blessings, that the things that are coming today, the things that are happening inside, the people that are wanting to go in that direction are being brought in my direction. They're being brought in that ability, into that vibration within that purpose inside of who they are, because they are focusing to that level. So if people are seeking out and asking, hey, what is Marcel made of? Go watch my hundreds of videos and you will find out exactly what I'm made of. Okay? And like Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man who kicks 1,000 times. I fear the man who kicks 10,000, one punch 10,000 times. That's what we're talking about today, my friends. We're talking about cutting through this universe in such a way that we use what we have inside. Cutting through this universe in such a way that the simplicity other people see is that 10,000, one kick with a master within your being. So how do we utilize it? See, that's what I'm asking you today. I'm asking you, can you use what I'm talking about today in your life? Can you leave a comment for me below? Can you leave a comment inside? Can you leave a like, a subscribe, become a part of the network, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, YouTube. Put it down so you can hear the notification, so you can play a little bit of mentality to get yourself just to the place where you can get that extra inch in your life, where you can gain that inspiration, where they can uplift you to be who you are on the inside, where you can manifest within your being, within your mentality, within your own purpose. And so, how do we get back up when we're kicked down? Do you know yourself enough to gain that place inside of you? That's what this channel is about. It's about getting back up. It's not about staying down and saying, poor me. Okay? Those days is for other people. That's for story time. This is for action. This is for the ability for you to believe in who you are. This is for the ability for you to overcome your challenges. And so I don't sit around for poor me. I don't sit around. I'm on the same vibration to where that place inside of you is worth it. And I don't stay down. You might notice things kick me to the ground. They don't hold me there. The reason they don't hold me there is because what we are inside is worth it. You are worth it. Your ability is worth it. Your challenges are worth it. Your focus, your knowledge, your discipline to be who you are on the inside is worth it. And so how do we uplift other people? See, it's not just to be the boss that is important. See, it's when we all race together. It's when we all become uplifted together. It's when we hear these kind of messages and we build a community of people. Motivationmeditationinspiration.yoga. Okay? Hearing what I'm saying, it's all of it. It's the motivation, it's the focus, it's the knowledge, it's the discipline that we have inside. It's the ability for you to have the upper hand in your lives, to have the upper hand, but also to be gentle to the people when you achieve it. See, recognize and understand Gain a place of understanding to be yourselves. To be who you are in the inside, to be the beauty that you have inside of who you are. That you can believe in you. That you can believe it can become possible. That, if you just put a little bit of time into yourself, just a little bit of ability inside of who you are, put a little bit ability in your mentality, a little bit of ability in your focus and your knowledge, that you can become centered, that you can become who you are, that you can become the very essence of your being, the very essence of your purpose, the very essence of your path, and the very essence of your journey. So, like I ask myself every day, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? I want you to be inspired, my friends. I want you to see your path is worth it. I want you to see that when you see these people, they are no different than you. Okay, the difference that they have inside of themselves is that they were willing to continue when you weren't. When you put your dreams in front of yourself and you want to achieve them, it comes from how you gain that centering within your being, how you gain that centering within your purpose, when you gain that centering within your path. And it's amazing how we're tested to see if we can do it. If we truly can see how other people before us gained it. And I'm telling you, when you use your focus and your knowledge, and you become centered within yourself, and that becomes a place of discipline, it radiates a reflection, it radiates ripples outwards. Other people's lives start to change because they're becoming honest with themselves. So when other people don't recognize you for who you are, that is when you are in the place that you are truly yourself. When you are becoming self-honest, when you're becoming self-aware, when you're becoming the being that you are inside, the beauty that you have inside of yourself, when you're gaining access to your whole being, your whole entire self, that centering is a beautiful thing. Okay? And when other people don't recognize you as that, it's in fact them that's changed, not you. Because the people who truly know you, the people who truly know the person that you are inside, are going to see you for the things that you enjoy and the things that you don't enjoy. They're going to see you for your positive traits, and they're going to see you for your negative traits, and they're going to see you. They're going to see you. And see, they're not going to be asking you changed. They're going to say, hey, look, these are positive things. You're seeing it for yourself. You're becoming it inside of you. Your knowledge, you're knowing you. And what really matters is that you know yourself. When you become that centered person where it doesn't matter what other people think about you, when you gain that person inside of yourself where you believe in you, where you believe in your abilities, when it's interesting how when we're out there, a true test of how many people truly know you is if you ask them what color is your favorite color. You see, because the people who know your favorite color are going to know one thing about you. See, it isn't what's going on around you. It's not what you dress up with. It's not how you dye your hair. It's you. They're going to see you. They're going to know that your favorite colors are purple and green, or red and black, or that you enjoy these type of things, that you truly enjoy to help people, or that you'll give you'll give a drink to a homeless person if you have the opportunity, or you won't. They're going to know those things about you. They're going to believe in themselves. They're going to believe in their abilities. They're going to see you for you. They're going to see the beauty inside of you. They're going to want you to be uplifted for yourself. They're going to want you to see that your discipline, your gifts, that your determination is worth it. And each day I see this, and I see this expansion happening. I see these people that are facing off against these type of challenges, and I see these kind of vibration. I see these kind of mentalities, and I see these kind of abilities within, and I focus on that. I focus into that, and it's worth it. And I'm telling you, you can too. And I want to inspire you to that level where you start to believe in yourselves. When you start to believe in your own purpose, when you start to believe in your path and your journey, even when you have nothing and you believe in you. See, I'm here to uplift you. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to see that you are a star amongst, that you are a flower amongst flowers, that you are a sun amongst suns, that you are a master of your being, a master of your purpose, a master of your journey. And so, how do we start to uplift to that level? How do we gain access to that part of ourselves where we start to believe in who we are? See, it's when we start to know ourselves that things become possible. It's when we start to know ourselves that people start coming in our direction for us. It's when we start to believe in who we are that we achieve our dreams, that we achieve our goals, that we manifest our beings. It's when we believe at that level inside of ourselves that we can overcome our challenges. Are you doing that inside of you? I want your day to become lighter. More than anything, I want you to leave this place with a lesson that you're worth it. I want you to believe that your dreams can become possible, that your goals are worth it, that your purpose is worth it. And it's inside of ourselves that we're seeking that person on this path. This road is worth it. Your journey, your centering of your being is worth it. And so believe you can do the impossible. Believe you can achieve the dreams within you, that you can light up in this world, that you can light up within this being, that you can light up within this path, and that you can overcome things that other people would call impossible. Because impossible is just a word. You are a blessing in this universe. As I close, I just want to say blessings to you all, and namaste.